Welcome back to what has been an extremely rainy day here, and so 9 games tonight. This, of course, being Montreal. This is LNH because it's French, because it's a home jersey, so French. And some surprising results. So go ahead and jump in with me to Seattle in against Florida. Florida, coming into tonight, had won 11 in a row to start the season at home. And with their road record being mediocre, they need, to keep winning games at home. And they were going for an NHL record with the 12th. It was Driedger versus Knight. And as soon as you see this, you go, Driedger's had a rough year. He's against his former teammates. Let's see how it goes. 25 seconds in, Forsling takes a penalty. So that's not a great start. There's a shorthanded break for Huberdeau. That's saved. And then with 3 seconds left in the power play, Eberle scores from Donskoy and Dunn at 2:22. And so it's 1-0 Seattle. Kraken then nearly gets one again at about 6 minutes, but at 6:59, Hornquist tips one in from Weegar and Thornton. So Joe Thornton with that, he passes Paul Coffey to be, I think, 13th all time. I think he's tied for, I think he's in 13th, or he's around there. He's in the teens. He's fine. So then we get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Vetrano at a blast shot that was saved. And then Donato with a nice tip in front of the net. He gets one from Alexiak and Donskoy at 10:40. So Jonas Donskoy still doesn't have a goal, but he had a couple of helpers tonight. And that puts Seattle ahead 2-1 in Florida. And both of those goals, I really don't think that Knight had a shot at them. Panthers would press to answer. Mammon fires one wide. Hornquist was denied with 3:50 left. And in the last minute, there were actually chances for Seattle. So we go to the second period. Seattle gets a power play. They did hit a post. That's as close as they got. It was killed off. There's a 3-on-2 for the Panthers. That misfires. Ekblad had a shot that was saved. The shots are 3-1 for the Panthers at 9 minutes. So Seattle's back a lot in this one. McCann was denied in close. Driedger, absolutely his best game in Seattle. Not a question. His numbers were miserable coming into tonight. Panthers get a power play. That's unsuccessful. We go to the third period. Third period, early press by Florida. Reinhart can't bury one. Lundell with a rush. He fires wide. Tippett then couldn't bury one either. So there were opportunities for Florida. They just weren't going in. Lots of pressure by the Panthers in the first 5 minutes. And then at 5:57, Eberle scores his second goal of the game from Gord at 5:57. That makes it 3-1. Panthers try to answer. Appleton with a steal. He fires one high. There was no room for Florida. Seattle was basically just blanketing them. And this is what Seattle started doing this week. And it's working. They've won 3 out of 4 games this week. Johansson had a rush chance that was saved. Geekie fires one wide with 4.5 minutes left. They would pull the goaltender with 4 minutes left because they're down by 2. That allows the Kraken to get the empty netter. So Alexiak, who was originally seen as probably the goal scorer of that one in the first, but it was Donato that tipped it. Alexiak gets the empty netter from Soucy at 16:35. Seattle wins 4-1. They go to 7-13-1. Florida's 14-4-3. Your 3 stars are Driedger, Eberle, and Hornquist. Shots are 14-9 Florida in the first, 13-7 Florida in the second, 11-7 Seattle in the third. So really good third period by Seattle. Final shots 34-27 for Florida. Power plays 1 for 2 for Seattle, 0 for 1 for Florida. Hits 39-24 for the Florida Panthers. Driedger saves 33 out of 34 at one end. Knight saves 23 out of 26 at the other. And yeah, it just felt like Driedger was saying, all right, I'm going to show that they made a mistake in not keeping me around. And for tonight at least, Seattle is starting to garner a reputation as a team that you can't take lightly. I don't know. I really think we expected too much out of this team out of the gate. And I think it takes a while for players to really come together and start playing as well as Seattle is right now. So we'll see whether or not, with still, 61 games left in their season, whether or not they can make this more interesting. So, yeah. All right. Moving along. Buffalo in against Detroit. It was Tokarski versus Nedeljkovic. Tokarski's starting to become a story yet again. Every time it looks like he's fading, he comes right back with a really good game. Bertuzzi fires an early chance wide. Hinostroza had a rush chance that was defended. Leddy had a shot blocked. The shots are 4-2 in favor of the Wings at 7 minutes. The Wings had a chance to deflect wide. Rasmussen hurt his knee. Things get kind of scrummy after that. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4 late. And then we get, with 1 minute and 3 seconds left, 52 seconds of 4-on-3 for the Wings. It then becomes a 5-on-4. early in the second, the Sabres finish off that kill, so nothing comes out of that. Miller blocks on a Wings rush. Larkin was robbed at the net. The Wings were better, but Tokarski was solid. And then Cousins tips one in from Murray and Okposo at 5:05. That's Murray's first point in the NHL. And it's 1-0 Buffalo. The Wings then out of 2-on-1. Bertuzzi ends up crashing into the boards. And then Rowney scores from Lindstrom and Gagne at 9:56. And not long after, at 11:15, Detroit gets the lead. It's Pius Suter from Smith and Cider. And so, yeah, it's 2-1. Okposo then hits Hronek. That leads to a power play for the Wings. Bertuzzi and Suter were both denied by Tokarski. Sabres did kill it off, though. So we go to the third period, Detroit up 2-1. Early power play for the Wings. The Sabres did not let the Wings set up on said power play. Osterley defends a Skinner chance. Bertuzzi was denied. The Wings would press. The Sabres finally clear it out. Then there's a press by the Sabres with 8 minutes left. Desperate hockey by the Sabres, which is what they need now. 1:52 left. The Sabres call a timeout. And they get the goalie out. Thompson couldn't bury one. And then during the 6-on-5, they do score it. Skinner with the 6th of the season from Eakin and Dahlin at 18:23. So that ties up the game and forces overtime. Well, overtime didn't last very long. The Wings control it and they score on the first shot. It's Raymond from Larkin and Hronek at 26 seconds. The Wings score to make that score 3-2 in overtime. They go to 10-9-3 on the season. Buffalo drops to 8-10-3 on their season. 3 stars are Raymond, Tokarski, and Suter. Shots were 11-7 Detroit in the first, 18-13 Detroit in the second, 11-8 Detroit in the third, and the only shot in the overtime was Detroit's. Final shots 41-28 for the Red Wings. Power plays, Buffalo didn't have any. Detroit had 3, didn't score on them. The hits were 12-9 for Detroit. Tokarski saves 38 out of 41. Nedeljkovic saves 26 out of 28. And yeah, I mean, it was entertaining. And Tokarski once again shows he's not quite done at the NHL level yet. Of course, there's already some speculation about with Matt Murray on waivers, maybe Buffalo, maybe Arizona would consider it, but I kind of would be surprised with that cap hit if either of them picked him up, especially with the fact that that contract is until 2024. May not be a contract a team wants to pick up on the waiver wire. All right, moving along. Montreal. Wow. Montreal in against Pittsburgh tonight, and obviously Montreal's season has gone completely in the wrong direction. And tonight we're hearing about Scott Mellenby stepping down as assistant GM because he apparently was told that if Bergevin moves along, he will not be promoted to general manager. And so they're talking to Jeff Gorton, who was, of course, the general manager in New York for the Rangers. We'll get into that in a news video likely tomorrow because it sounds like Gorton probably becomes the assistant GM. And then we can all hawk over whether or not he's going to take Bergevin's job at the end of the year, right? Anyways, Allen versus DeSmith was the matchup in this game tonight. 4-minute Habs power play, and there was some dump and chase. I don't like dump and chase on the power play. I've never liked it because dump and chase, you almost never go in and get the puck clean anyways, so you're taking more time off your power play just to get the puck back so you can set up. So the Pens kill it off. Kapanen gets shaken up. He fell into the boards. Penguins press at the half. Gensel was denied. Suzuki at the net. DeSmith makes the save off of him. Habs were generating chances. There's a press by the Habs with 4.5 minutes left. And even though the shots favor Pittsburgh, it was a pretty good period for the Habs because the bar is low. Second period, Penguins get a power play. That is unsuccessful. The Penguins also pressed at 6.5 minutes. The Habs defending, though, doing their best to keep them to the outside. Anderson had a shot that was saved and held. The shots are 9-3 for the Penguins at 9 minutes, though. So maybe don't allow a shot every minute. The Habs get a power play. That was unsuccessful. The Penguins had a 3-on-2. Gensel's shot was saved. And then Jonathan Drouin with his first goal in 14 games at 15:34. Breakaway goal. And so Montreal's up 1-0 after 2 periods. Even though in the game, yeah, they were outplayed just a little bit. But Jake Allen playing pretty well. Third period, Lehkonen had a rush chance that was saved. The Penguins get a power play, and the teams decided, why don't we score all the goals now? So first it's Rodriguez on the power play from Crosby and Gensel at 2:33. Dvorak answers immediately from Niku and Anderson at 3:05. Penguins try to answer that. Dumoulin knocked down Crosby. Probably not the best opportunity there. They collided, but Dumoulin stayed on his feet and Crosby didn't. And then we get Lehkonen scoring from Caulfield and Savard at 6:16. All of a sudden, Arturi Lehkonen's putting up goals. It's 3-1 Montreal. Penguins try to answer. There's a power play for the Penguins. That was a no. The Habs get a power play. It's also a no. The goaltender gets pulled with 3 minutes left, and Pittsburgh scores. It's Carter from Kapanen and Crosby at 17:23. So Sid the Kid is starting to put up points again. Crosby then has a shot saved 6-on-5. Josh Anderson hits the empty net. The assist to Dvorak and Toffoli at 18 minutes and 19 seconds. Penguins call a timeout. At 6-on-5, Crosby scores from Kapanen and Carter at 18:50. It's not over yet, but it will be. Anderson gets the empty net goal at 19:12, and by getting it, I mean it was awarded to him. He was tripped by Letang while he was going in on the net, and the referee went, that's a goal. That counts as a goal. And then another empty netter. It's Toffoli hitting the empty net from Dvorak and Romanov. So, Dvorak with a couple of assists on the empty netter. He gets the goal here. Pretty good night for Dvorak. And Montreal wins 6-3. With this loss, Pittsburgh drops to 10-7-4. Montreal's record improves to 6-15-2. They're going to have to go on quite the streak, of course, to get back into the conversation. But the 3 stars are Anderson, Allen, and Rodriguez. Shots 14-8 Pittsburgh in the first, 17-13 Pittsburgh in the second, and 19-12 Pittsburgh in the third. The final shots are 50-33 for the Penguins. Power plays 0-4 for Montreal, 1-3 for Pittsburgh. Hits are 37-24 in favor of Montreal. Allen saves 47 out of 50. DeSmith saves 27 out of 30. And there you go. Montreal, pretty decent game overall. And it is interesting that both goalies saved or allowed the same number of goals. There were 3 empty net goals for Montreal. So one of those bizarre things that happens where both goalies have the same amount of goals allowed. Okay, moving along. Last game on the board is Edmonton and Vegas. And this was the big one, right? These are your behemoths, at least in theory, in the Pacific. These should be the teams fighting it out for first and second. Calgary, of course, wanting to be in that conversation. Right now they are. Do they stay there? It's Koskinen versus Leonard. Early chances for Vegas. Hyman with a net drive. That was defended. Yamamoto had a shot that was blocked. Koskinen covers a Vegas rush chance. Vegas gets a power play. That's a no. Chris Russell reached 2,000 blocks in the first period. So he is the first player in NHL history to reach 2,000 blocked shots. The Oilers get a power play. There was a shorthanded chance for Stevenson. That was killed off. Theodore had a rush chance or a drive that was saved. Leonard then saves back-to-back shots. McDavid had a rush chance that was saved. He didn't get on the board tonight either. Kolasar had a shot tipped over the net. So we're coming down to near the end of the period, and it's scoreless. However, Nugent Hopkins on a nice rush pass from Barrie at 17:50 gets the first goal, and then Hyman scores from Cassian at 19:44. And suddenly it's 2-0 Edmonton after the first period. Second period, Draisaitl was being doubled up. I mentioned this because Draisaitl did not get on the board tonight. Neither did McDavid. And what I noticed was there were 2 yellow or gold jerseys on them at all times. That it was, if one of them had it, there's 2. Now that does open up somebody else on the ice. But if you've got Draisaitl or McDavid neutralized, and if you've got them both neutralized, that helps you against Edmonton. Not that prevented Edmonton from a victory tonight. Vegas presses, no stick for Koskinen. The Oilers, though, they cleared out and survived. And then Puljujarvi scores to make it 3-0 from Bouchard and Fogle at 6:39. Things get scrummy at the Vegas net around the halfway mark. And Stevenson scores shortly thereafter from Stone and Pacioretty at 10:50. The Oilers get a power play. It's a no. Their power play went 0 for 2 tonight. I'm sure for Oiler fans it's going to be, wait, those are automatic goals, aren't they? So Ryan Nugent-Hopkins with a break. Leonard makes the save, and we go to the third period. Early in the third, 4 minutes and 4 seconds, Riley Smith scores from Marchessault. So this game's got some tension to it. Vegas is coming on strong here. Oilers press at 5 minutes. Pacioretty then had a drive that was saved. Vegas presses at 8 minutes. Vegas was in control, and the Oilers were definitely guilty of hanging on past this point. With 2:32 left, goaltender gets pulled. Pietrangelo had a rush chance that was saved, but Edmonton does hold on. They win 3-2 in Vegas. Vegas drops to 12-9 on the season. Edmonton goes to 15-5. They're on pace for 60 wins this year. So that's how ridiculous some of these early records are. They're on pace for 60 wins. That's craziness. Your 3 stars are Hyman, Stevenson, and Marchessault. Shots in the first period were 16-14 Edmonton. Second period, 12-9 Vegas. Third period, 12-5 Vegas. Final shots, 38-30 for Vegas. And of course, 2 of the 3 stars are Vegas because Vegas picks the 3 stars as the home team. Hits were 21-19 Vegas. Koskinen saves 36 out of 38. I would have made him the 3rd star because without Koskinen's goaltending, Vegas wins this game. Leonard, 27 saves on 30 shots at the other end. And yeah, so Edmonton wins this battle tonight in Vegas. And it feels like it's a big deal because they didn't get points from McDavid and Draisaitl, and they still get the win. All right, let's go ahead and change boards. So next up, the Ottawa Senators and the LA Kings. It's Gustafsson versus Peterson, and LA wearing the Cylon helmets. There was some discussion about them during this game and whether or not people liked them. I think they look ridiculous. Personally, I'm just saying I think they look ridiculous. I know there's people who like them. Kempe, Cylons, love them. Kempe fires high. If you don't know Battlestar Galactica, I'm not sure what any of us are doing on this planet. So Kempe fires high. There's an early press by the Kings. Lemieux misses one wide. More pressure by LA. Gustafsson with a turnover. The Kings end up getting a power play shortly thereafter. And Arvidsson scores on the power play from Kopitar and Durzi at 4:59. The shots were 7-2 for LA at 7 minutes. Then we get an extended 4-on-4. Durzi was impressing in this game, and he's a good defenseman. Kings get a power play. That was a no. There's a shorthanded 2-on-0. Peterson denies Connor Brown during that. Kings go back to the power play, but we end up with a press by the Sens with 4.5 minutes left, and they did score before the period's out. It's Delzato at 19:41, so it's 1-1 after 1. Second period, Kings press at 3 minutes. Gambrell had a rush chance that was saved. Iafallo draws a power play. Kopitar had a rush that was saved. Senators press at 9.5 minutes. Puck goes the other way. Grundstrom gets a goal at 10:23. So it's 2-1 LA. We had end-to-end chances with 8 minutes left, and eventually Kaliev gets his 4th of the year from Edler at 13:14. Senators would try to answer before the period's out. They do. It's Connor Brown. And it was a turnover after an LA 3-on-2. He scores at 18:33. So again, Ottawa not going away. This is what they've been able to do on this road trip. They don't go away, but they don't win. So being close and keeping it competitive, when you're not winning any of the games, it becomes a little more difficult to sell the hope, right? So third period, early chance for Arvidsson was blocked. The shots are 4-3 for the Senators halfway through the period. Chabot had a turnover. His shot was saved on that. And then Lemieux versus Tkachuk happens. So Tkachuk after the game basically said that Lemieux was gutless, shouldn't be in the league, and talked about Lemieux biting him. Now, whether it's both hands he bit, which was the debate on Hockey Night in Canada, or just the one, that's not the point. And biting is something that now we all remember the Boston Vancouver series. That got ridiculous. That was one that really just ticked me off. I was like, seriously, just knock it off. And again, the idea of biting another guy is just insane. So they looked on the replay and they did give Lemieux a match penalty. And if you watch the replay, yeah, it definitely looks like he bit him. And Tkachuk was not happy, and nor should he be. This is the second and final meeting between Ottawa and the Kings. So there's no reason after the game for Tkachuk to go off, and yet he did. So I would expect that the NHL talks to Lemieux. I think by the fact that it drew blood. I mean, you could always just take the marks on Tkachuk's hand and just have him hold it up and Lemieux, put his teeth in. You can tell. But it's like using dental records. But it looks bad, and it leads to a 5-minute power play for the Sens. And it was aggressive penalty kill by the Kings. They did kill it off. They get the 5-minute kill. They get it done. And this is where if Ottawa's really that angry about it, that's where you've got to get a goal. You've got to tie up the game, and they didn't. They did pull the goaltender with a minute left, and that allowed Grundstrom to hit the empty net from Kopitar and Edler at 19:26. Your final score is 4-2 for LA. They go to 9-8-3. Ottawa drops to 4-14-1. But the Tkachuk-Lemieux incident, I think, is going to overshadow it. When you see that happening with Brendan Lemieux, the first thing in your head is, at least for somebody my age, is, well, it is Claude's kid. So I remember Claude Lemieux and the stuff he did. So 3 stars, Kopitar, Arvidsson, and Anderson. That's Mikey Anderson. Your shots, 20-10 LA in the first, 11 apiece in the second. 11-6 for Ottawa in the third. So Ottawa did get some shots and some opportunities, just couldn't bury them. Final shots 37-32 for LA. Power plays, Ottawa shows us 0 for 0. I'm going to say 0 for 1. So the app's wrong. I'm going to say 0 for 1 for the Sens. I don't see any other power plays there. So LA 1 for 4. The hits were 37-22 for Ottawa. Gustafson 33 saves on 36 shots, played well. Peterson 30 saves on 32 shots. There you go. Peterson has a good game tonight against Ottawa. And that's where people say, well, most teams are doing that. That's why Ottawa has the 4-14-1 record. And I don't really have an answer for that. That would be absolutely accurate. Next up, St. Louis. So the Blues against Columbus. Columbus coming off of that win last night against Vancouver. And tonight's matchup didn't really work out the way that the one did last night. The interesting thing is I think Columbus probably played a better game tonight than they did last night when they won. This is the beauty of the NHL. You can have a team that doesn't necessarily play well that wins. The next night they might play better, and then they lose. That's the whole thing. Korpisalo versus Husso, that might be part of the difference. And I know there'll be Columbus fans going, yeah, the difference between Elvis and Korpisalo is huge. And the numbers are getting wider. The difference between their save percentages is growing. Early power play for Columbus, that was a no. Columbus then gets a second power play. They score on it. It's Boone Jenner from Werenski and Boquist at 12:38. Buchnevich was then denied. O'Reilly hits a post. Last minute, there's chances for the Blues. And Korpisalo looked shaky. Second period, Shen had an early chance saved, but Tarasenko gets a goal at 58 seconds. Andrew Peeke actually put that in his own net, too. So, yeah, there was some debate about who actually put the puck in. Yeah, it was Peeke, so it's Tarasenko's goal. Then Barbashev scores from Sundqvist and Buchnevich at 1:56. So 2 goals in 58 seconds, and suddenly the Blues are in the lead. Corelli had a rush chance that was blocked. Shen fires one wide. They would press after that. Sundqvist had a net feed that wouldn't quite go through. Power play then for the Blues. The closest they get is a post for Buchnevich. It's killed off. Columbus presses with 8 minutes left. Kyrou would score from O'Reilly at 13-12. So Columbus pressuring, and Blues get a chance, and it goes in the net. It's 3-1 now for St. Louis. Blues get another power play. That was also a no. And then in the last minute, Columbus gets a power play. It rolls over into the third period. Dangerous Columbus power play as well. The Blues, it looked like we're going to survive. They cleared it out. There wasn't much time left. I'm like, well, they iced it, but they survived. There's only a few seconds left. No, I was wrong. They didn't survive. Boquist gets the power play goal with like 3 seconds left in the power play from Voracek and Bjorkstrand at 1:03. Then we get a post for Tarasenko. Korpisalo saves as the Blues press, but Falk would get a goal. That's his 101st in his career from Thomas and Tarasenko at 5:42, right over the glove. The Blues then go for more. Voracek with a rush. Husso makes the save there. Blues press at 9 minutes, and eventually they get the goal. Fantastic pass by Thomas. Thomas is one of my favorite players. His passing is fantastic. And Buchnevich had a wide open net there because Thomas fed it across to him perfectly. So Buchnevich buries it. Thomas and Tarasenko with the assists at 10 minutes and 30 seconds. Great pass. And then at 12:40, Barbashev gets his second goal of the game. This is his first 2-goal game in a while. He gets that from Saad and Parayko at 12:40. Columbus gets a power play. It is unsuccessful. Boquist would add one just to make things interesting from Texier and Bean at 17:46. So Boquist, and it was a nice goal. That's the second of the game. That goes with the assist he got in the first period. And so he gets 3 points. He's in on all 3 goals, but Columbus loses 6-3. They drop to 12-7. St. Louis 11-7-3, and it feels like they're pulling out of this funk they've been in for a couple of weeks. 3 stars, Buchnevich, Barbashev, and Tarasenko in the 6-3 win. Shots are 7 apiece in the first, 17-8 St. Louis in the second, 12-9 Columbus in the third. Final shots 33-27 for St. Louis. Power plays 2-4 for Columbus, 0-2 for St. Louis. 13 hits for both teams. Korpisalo 27 saves on 33 shots. Husso 24 saves on 27 shots, and the victory for Ville Husso. So moving along, Dallas. It almost happened. It really did. And I thought, yep, this is what I was kind of concerned about. Dallas had a really good homestand. Now they go to Arizona the next night after a win last night. And it was Holtby versus Wedgwood. Holtby, good appearance by him. His first start back from injury. Hintz scores from Pavelski and Robertson at 54 seconds on a rebound. That didn't take long, did it? Rope Hintz has started to heat up. So if Steve Dangle's still got him on his fantasy team, that's good. If he doesn't, Might want to go out and get him now because he's starting to heat up again. Holtby saves on Eriksson. Then Roussel scores. But then the question became, is it a high stick? So they checked to see if it was a high stick. He hits it exactly at the crossbar. So Roussel with a goal from Eriksson and Strawman at 3:54. Antoine Roussel with the goal to tie it up. Post then for Pavelski. Peterson got down. He was hit into the boards hard. He would stay in the game. Stars press with 9 minutes left. There was another press by them as well with about 4 minutes left. And then Peterson gets a goal to put them in the lead from Fox and Radulov at 18:36. So Dallas had played a very good period. They're up 2-1 on Arizona after one period. Second period, Boyd would score from Capobianco and Kessel at 4:24. And yeah, Boyd's playing very well right now. He's putting up goals. It's unusual. I'm sure it's unusual for him too. But hey, I absolutely applaud him for getting the opportunity and taking advantage of it. And it was a result of a really good press by Arizona as well. Krause then had a chance that deflected wide, and the Stars went over 8 minutes without a shot. So this was definitely a game where it felt like, Arizona's tied. They've got the momentum. Stars aren't getting it. We'll see what happens. They might be tired from last night. But Robertson would score from Sekera and Pavelski to restore the lead at 8:57. Coyotes get a power play. That was unsuccessful. Then we get a 4-on-4. The Stars get a power play after that, so there's some overlap and everything. It's all killed off. Coyotes go back to the power play. That's killed off. Holtby with a save when he was without his stick. So we go to the third period with a 3-2 in favor of Dallas. Coyotes press. Holtby saves. No shots for the Stars 5 minutes into this period. So slow starts to the second and the third for Dallas. Heiskanen had a chance that was saved. Galchenyuk had a drive saved. They put him back in the middle. We'll see if it gets Galchenyuk going, being in the center spot. Coyotes press at 8 minutes. That was the fourth line that was doing the pressing for Coyotes as well. Stars, I felt like were in their own end a little too much in that third period. I thought they were sitting on the lead a little bit too much. Stars, though, what they were doing was they were keeping the shots against low. They did get some pressure with 7 minutes left, but they were keeping the shots against low, considering how much time Arizona had in their zone. Goalie pull with 2 minutes left. With 1:09 left, the Coyotes call a timeout, but the faceoff's in their zone. So they call the timeout and try to figure something out, but with the faceoff in their zone, Wedgwood has to go back in. They managed to get him pulled, but they just couldn't get anything set up. So Dallas holds on. They win 3-2. They go to 10-7-2. I think that's 5 in a row for them? 4 in a row for them for wins. And for Arizona, they're 4-15-2. So Arizona back in the loss column regularly again. So your 3 stars, Robertson, Hintz, and Boyd. Your shots 14-9 Dallas in the first, 11-10 Arizona in the second, 7-5 Arizona in the third. Final shots 29-27 for Dallas. Dallas had 1 power play, didn't score on it. Arizona had 2, didn't score on theirs. Hits were 22-19 for Dallas. Holtby saves 25 out of 27. Very good game for him. Wedgwood saves 26 out of 29 at the other end of the ice. Next up is Nashville in against Colorado. And Colorado, well, this is how you respond to a loss if you're Colorado. It's Riddick versus Johansson. So looking at that, you'd be like, there could be a lot of goals. Yeah, but only at one end, really. So the Avs get a power play and they score on it. It's Rantanen scoring from Landeskog and Makar at 4:41. Cale Makar's ridiculous. Just going to say that just because he is. Avs rush. They were trying for another. The shots are 5-0 in their favor at 7 minutes. The Avs get their third power play. Rantanen scores on that from Makar and Kadri at 17:37. So the Avs getting power plays, a couple of power play markers in the first. They're ahead 2-0 after one. Second period. The Avs hit a post right away. Riddick had no idea where that puck was. He was down like, I think I'm on it. I don't know. Am I on it? What's going on? So they were lucky that didn't go in. And it was a swarming offense for the Avs. But then Nashville scores. It's Cunnin from Tolvanen and Johansson at 4:44. However, the Avs, they were hungry for goal. They pressed right back in response, and they get it. It's Byram with his 4th of the year from Landeskog and Makar at 6:19. Cale Makar had 3 assists in the first 26 minutes of this game. He's ridiculous. And I'm going to mention this too. I've noticed this. People don't complain about defensemen getting assists that are secondary assists. Forwards, you'll hear that a lot. Like, well, yeah, but his assists are secondary assists. So, and I've talked before in videos about how I don't care if you're the primary assist or the secondary. I think both are impressive. I find it bizarre that with defensemen, I don't hear that argument nearly as much. And with Makar and Fox, the way that those teams are set up, they get a lot of secondary assists. Still, 2 of the best defensemen in the league. So there you go. I just thought I'd throw that out there because I've noticed when I'm doing these games and doing especially for the Avs and the Rangers, that very often that's the secondary assist. But again, fans don't care. They go, yes, points, which is how we should view it. Shots were more than 3-1 in favor of the Avs at this point too. They were more than tripling Nashville in shots. Pressed by the Predators at 9 minutes. We then get 2 minutes of 4-on-4 because Cousins and Kadri don't like each other's faces. Makar was magic with the puck. Absolutely magic with the puck. I wrote that on the board because I was like, he's magic with the puck. And there it is. Yossi had a chance to deflect out. Tolvin had a shot that was saved. The Preds were getting chances at this point. The Avs then get their 4th power play. The Preds had none to that point. Landeskog jumped Ekholm, bloodied him. That's what causes the first power play too. So, and it was all fighty after an Avs net crash, and Riddick took exception. And then Landeskog just takes Ekholm and just starts pummeling him just because he feels like it. I couldn't figure out what Ekholm had done. Ekholm, when he was told that he had a penalty, you could see him reacting with for what. And this is back to the 80s, where as a kid watching hockey, I said, is he getting a penalty for getting punched in the face? I asked my dad that. Was Stan Smeel, where it was a fight. And Smeel didn't throw a punch, he just got pummeled. And I was like, did he just get a penalty for getting punched in the head a bunch of times? Yep. So Ekholm was bleeding all over the place too. It wasn't pretty. So Landeskog gets 2 for instigating, which is weird because it wasn't a fighting major given to Ekholm. He gets 5 for fighting and a 10-minute game misconduct. So, yeah, Landeskog out of there for just losing it, basically. So we go to the 3rd period. Johansson had a rush chance that was saved, but while they managed 3 shots with what was left of that major power play to start the 3rd, they don't get a goal out of it. So again, much like here, you have that 5-minute major. You've got to make the team pay. Nashville didn't. So Johansson's making some big saves, which of course surprised people when he went to Colorado. I thought he was a decent goaltender, but he was supposed to be the worst in the history of goaltending. Not bad right now. Nichushkin scores from Rantanen and Taves at 6:42. We then get a delay of game call. Power play for the Predators. Unsuccessful, so that's their 2 power plays on the night. And then Rantanen scores from Kadri and Taves at 15:12. And that's the hat trick. So Rantanen with a hat trick. Duchesne then scored in response. It's reviewed and it counts. From Granlund and Forsberg at 16:28. They were double checking to see whether or not the puck actually crossed the line. Johansson saves it, but he went backwards into the net. So he took the puck with him when he went backwards into the net. So it's a goal. That makes it 5-2, which means that Jost gets a goal from Obe Kubel and Eric Johnson at 18:55 to make it 6-2 and restore that 4-goal lead. Colorado goes to 11-6-1. Nashville drops to 11-9-1. Your 3 stars are Rantanen, Makar, and Landeskog. I don't know that I would put Landeskog in the 3 stars if it was me. Like, I understand because he had an assist here and an assist here. I don't know. I don't. And again, it's not my call. I might have given it to Johansson as the 3rd star. Anyways, shots in this one are Colorado 14-4 in the first, 12 apiece in the second, and then Nashville outshot them 12-9 in the third. Final shots 35-28 for Colorado. Power plays 0 for 2 for Nashville, 2 for 4 for Colorado. Hits were 31-20 for Nashville. Riddick saves 29 out of 35. Johansson saves 26 out of 28. And yeah, Colorado back in the winning seat. That's where they want to be. They want to be the winners. They want to get in the playoffs and be one of the top teams in the division. And right now, I'd say they're there. All right, one last chance to change boards, and then we're done for the night. So, last game of the night, Winnipeg and Calgary. This floors me because Calgary gets off to a great start. It's Hellebuck versus Markstrom. And whenever the Flames get off to a good start, they generally win, right? It's Tkachuk from Gaudreau at 26 seconds. That was the 4th shot on net. 26 seconds into the game, Calgary's already got 4 shots. And all I could think was, this is going to get ugly. It felt to me like this game was going to get absolutely out of control. The Jets were going to get blown out of the building by Calgary. Stanley shot blocks with his back. I don't recommend that. So that was a now. He exited for briefly. Shots are 8-2 for the Flames at 5 minutes. They then get a power play. And Lindholm scores on the power play from Monahan and Gaudreau at 7:42. The Jets get a power play. It's a no. Most of this period, Calgary's in control, but the Jets start getting a little bit of momentum in this. Connor would score from Wheeler at 16 minutes and 26 seconds. The Jets get another power play. Gaudreau with the break. The Jets take a penalty at the 20-minute mark. So Gaudreau draws that penalty. Second period, that penalty's killed off by the Jets. And though the shots were 3-1 for the Flames at 3.5 minutes, you could feel like Winnipeg was starting to get into this. They're only down by 1. They just killed off a penalty. And it is Stastny from Svechnikov at 4 minutes and 50 seconds. So that ties up the game. The Flames then had a 2-on-1. That was defended. I think it's DeMello that broke that up. Momentum shift was really that early penalty kill by the Jets. Dubois with the net feed nearly connects. The Flames' fourth line is pressing. And then Lucic takes a 5-minute penalty for boarding DeMello. DeMello stayed and played in this game. So there's no injury there. But it was a dangerous hit. And I do think there'll be a suspension out of it. I would think probably a game. We'll see. Department of Player Safety is going to be busy tomorrow. I don't know if they're going to... I think with Landeskog, that's probably a fine for mugging. And Lemieux, I don't know. That'll give him gray hair. And then with Lucic, probably a game or two is my guess. And then anything else that might have happened today that they want to take action on. So we go to the third period with it tied. Everything gets killed off. All the penalties are killed off. I love writing that on the board. I just wait. I'm like, let's just wait till all the penalties are gone. Good. We're back to 5-on-5. Ehlers had a rush chance that was saved, and then he had a blast on the next one that was saved. And it was the way it looked to me was, oh, you saved the first one, try to save this. And then he did. So Markstrom, decent game, even though it didn't go the Flames' way tonight. Morrissey's denied at 5 minutes. DeMello was taking a regular shift, so that's what I'm talking about with Lucic. DeMello does take a regular shift in the third. Mangiapane draws a crowd at the Jets net, and that's going to happen because Hellebuck was having a fantastic game. This is one of those things where it's not like anybody's running the goaltender, but if the goaltender happened to get hurt, that'd be sad, but then we get Comrie, right? So there's sort of that, and again, I'm not saying that the Flames were doing anything nefarious. It's just that the opposite team, if the goalie gets hurt, you're like, man, that sucks, the goalie's hurt. But boy, he was shutting us out, wasn't he? He was doing really well. Now we got the other guy. So the Flames press, they draw themselves a power play out of it. Lots of chances during that power play. I was convinced that power play was going to score, but the Jets killed it. And another way of putting it is Hellebuck denied. There was Monahan that got denied. I think Tkachuk was as well. There were a lot of opportunities, and yeah, absolutely standing tall was Hellebuck. Turnover chance then for Backlund, but he's defended out before he actually gets to the net. Gaudreau at a centering pass that gets cleared, and then at 15:09, against the flow of play, this was all Calgary, and then Connor scores from Wheeler and Scheifele at 15:09. So this is good news. Wheeler being on the board a couple of times, Scheifele with a helper as well, and Connor. I think he leads the league in 5-on-5 goals. He's a very good goal scorer. I've been a fan of Connor's for years. People who watch the channel know that. So they pulled the goalie with 1 minute and 25 seconds left. That allows Kopp to hit the empty net from Dubois at 19 minutes. At the time that I put this board together, they hadn't given Dubois an assist, but I'm pretty sure he puts it over to Kopp. Kopp puts it in the net. The Jets win 4-2. They go to 10-7-4 with the win. They had to win this game. Calgary drops to 12-4-5. 3 stars, Connor, Lindholm, and Hellebuck. So 1 Flame and 2 Jets. That sounds about right. Shots 14-13 Calgary in the first, 7-6 Winnipeg in the second, 15-7 Calgary in the third. Final shots 35-27 for the Flames. Power plays 0 for 3 for Winnipeg, 1 for 4 for Calgary. So a 75% penalty kill, which improves the Jets' penalty kill numbers. They're miserable. Hits 16-12 for Calgary. Hellebuck saves 33 out of 35. Markstrom saves 23 out of 26. And there you go. You're all caught up. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.